Speak up.
Hello.
And good day to you.
Quick question. So prior to be called, I was feeling very excited. Still am, very smiley. But the moment you said my name, or you said my name, right away I felt this nervousness
Yes.
in my chest.
Well, what was your fear?
What was the fear?
You said you felt nervous.
Yeah, and I still do a little bit.
So what is the fear? What are you afraid will happen? If you weren't afraid something would happen, you wouldn't be nervous, would you? Or are you confusing nervousness with excitement?
What? Well, that's the question I want to ask you. Like, why? Like, for a moment, like I was having moments of excitement, but the moment they said my name, I felt this nervousness. So
I have asked you the question that will allow us to explore it. What are you afraid would have happened?
Perhaps not knowing like what questions to ask, or
and why is that cause for fear? Why do you have a belief that would be a negative thing if you forgot the questions or didn't have any?
Or maybe just standing and having all these amazing people like looking at me like, hey, he's not asking a question or the right question or an exciting question.
Well, that's all right, because on the positive note, you would have provided a lot of entertainment for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a positive thing, yes?
Well, I feel good now. Well, better.
So
what I wanted to know is, it seems like over the years, the more I get to know who I truly am, the more I get to know the authentic self, my empowerment self,
yes.
The more I realize when I'm not being myself.
Exactly. And that's a positive thing. That's the way the process goes. The more you are truly you, the easier it is to recognize when you're not being truly you. That's cause for excitement, that you become more adept at telling the difference.
Well, the thing with that, though, is these last couple of days, in this last couple of weeks, I have been realizing that I've been choosing, in your words, non-preferred states, which I know you say it's a positive thing, but I keep on choosing those non-preferred states over and over.
Then you haven't found the fundamental belief. Keep digging. You haven't let go of the fundamental belief. If you keep doing the same things you don't prefer to do, it means you haven't found the fundamental belief on which you are basing those feelings, those thoughts, and those behaviors. Keep digging. It's all about the process of finding it and letting it go. You don't need to be anywhere else other than here and now and in the process of figuring out what the beliefs are that don't serve you. You have nowhere else more important to be. You understand? Yes, no, maybe?
Maybe.
Is there somewhere else you think you should be?
No, I'm perfectly fine where I'm at right now.
Then the idea is, again, if you recognize that you are feeling, thinking, and behaving in ways you don't prefer, and you keep doing the things you don't prefer, all that tells you is you need to keep digging because you haven't found the core belief, the core negative belief that is out of alignment with you, that is generating those feelings, those thoughts, and those behaviors. Because you do understand that behaviors and thoughts and feelings are all generated by beliefs, yes?
Right.
Therefore, again, very simple, if you see yourself behaving in a way you don't prefer, you must know that that's your first clue. You have a belief you're still holding on to because somehow you believe it serves you. Find out what that belief is, identify it clearly, and as soon as it becomes nonsensical and illogical, it's gone. As soon as any belief appears nonsensical, that's not the beginning of the process of letting it go, that's the end of the process of letting it go. If you're still doing the same things, you haven't found the core belief. Please remember that beliefs are designed to perpetuate themselves in all the ways they can, and the negative beliefs will use all sorts of negative tricks to do so. So a negative belief, a core belief, may make you think you have found the core belief by surrounding itself with all sorts of secondary beliefs, and is very happy for you to find the secondary belief and let it go, and then sit there and hide and go, well, he hasn't found me yet. He thinks he has, but he hasn't. So you need to keep digging.
How do you dig? Like, how do you keep on digging at that moment? So let's say, for instance, I'm finding myself, so we're talking about conditions. There's certain conditions at my home that gets me irritated or annoyed or pissed off, and I know that's just
Do you ask yourself why?
Because I don't like those conditions.
No. Do you ask yourself why you are so invested in the conditions being a certain way? Do you understand that all circumstances are neutral and have no built-in meaning?
Sure.
So if you understand that, why would you react to any circumstance at all? Why? Well, that's the fundamental question you need to be asking. If you know situations are neutral and don't have meaning until you give them meaning, and you find yourself reacting to a situation in a negative way, the question is, what would I have to believe is true about myself in this situation in order to feel the way I do?
Okay, so that people are not caring, or they're being disrespectful, or they're not being thoughtful, or
all right, now, again, remember, you are the arbiter of how you experience life. So even if someone else chooses to be disrespectful or uncaring, why should that affect how you experience your life? Why are you basing what you prefer on what they think or do when they are not you? Why do you believe they have the power to make you feel in ways you don't prefer to feel?
I don't.
You do. Or you wouldn't be feeling those things.
Okay, so that's my question. Why, knowing that, why do I still choose a state?
Because you don't know it deep enough. It's not real to you yet. It's just an idea for you. Until you find the real core belief, it will always remain just an idea that you may comprehend, but you don't deeply understand that to be true in your bones.
I'd like to share a belief that could be close to the core belief, or perhaps the belief itself. Like, I feel that if I do confront or express to these certain people what I'm feeling or what's bugging me, that's going to be an automatic fight, or I'm going to be shouted out, or argument, and so because I'm afraid of that, I don't.
Can you express yourself in a loving and straightforward way?
I know I can, and I want to, but there's a fear that it's not going to be in a loving way.
All right, but again, you're still basing your truth on what you believe someone else will do instead of just being true to yourself.
Or perhaps what I'm going to do, I might get more pissed off, I might want to.
But don't you understand that the only reason you would do that is because you are holding on to a negative belief that you have to?
So I want to let it go.
You're the one that needs to change, not them.
I know.
So decide what you really prefer to be, decide what beliefs you really prefer to have, and allow those to guide you, instead of just reinforcing the negativity you say you don't prefer to experience from them by doing the negative energy yourself. So which just gives you more of what you say you don't prefer.
So I prefer to just, in a way, kind of not giving a shit, like, okay, so who cares if they did that? Just let it go, it doesn't really bug me.
Yeah, who cares?
But then I do care, that's the thing.
But that's the issue. Again, it comes back to the question. Why do you care? And don't just keep going around in circles saying, well, I care because I'm afraid they're going to... That's just going in circles. You haven't answered the question. Why deeply enough? You need to not be afraid to dig down deeper and find out what the belief is that is making you care what they think. That's what you haven't done. That's what you need to do.
Well, because I want harmony, I want them to be happy, I want them, maybe it's because of pleasing.
You choose to be happy. Never mind what anyone else chooses. It's not your job, it's none of your business, what anyone else chooses to think about you or anything.
How do you remain like calm, peace, and happy when someone else is being upset?
I just told you how. You need to understand what we're saying, and you don't understand it yet. You remain calm because you choose to be. That's what you prefer. If you don't remain calm, it's because you choose to believe that you shouldn't remain calm. So you have to ask yourself why you think that works for you, when obviously it does not. Because if you still do that, some belief is telling you that that will work for you, but you can see that it doesn't. So you're still buying into a negative belief. You haven't let the negative belief go. And the letting go of the negative belief is how you remain calm. You understand?
I do.
Is this helping?
Yes, can you help me to dig deeper to find out what's that core belief?
Not tonight. But others will help you. You have your own guides, you know. But just remember what we've said, let it sink in, and above and beyond anything and everything, relax. There's no hurry, there's no rush, everything is fine. You're going through your processes, and that's fine. You have nowhere else you need to be, but here and now, with your process, no matter how you feel, it's fine. Relax. Yes?
Yes, are those processes?
That's enough. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Don't worry, you'll get it eventually.
Hello, Bashar.
And you good day.
The last time I asked you a question, I spaced out, didn't hear anything you had to say. So
That's all right, I space out all the time.
my intention is to really connect with you right now.
And so, what would you like to discuss?
I'm curious, do you have marriage on your planet?
Not in the way you understand it as a ritual on yours, no. We allow relationships to be whatever they choose to be, whatever they turn out to be. It's not really ritualized in that sense. If we are with one person for a certain amount of time, I suppose you could say that's a marriage. But it could change. We won't know what the relationship is until the relationship changes again. We won't assume what it should be. We just let it be what it is.
Okay.
In that sense, you could say that everyone on our planet is married to everyone else. We're all in one marriage that contains a number of different expressions of relationship.
Here on this planet, we have a license to get married.
Oh, yes, I'm well aware of the rituals that you have.
And it's sanctioned by government. Do we, when we get a license and it's sanctioned by government, do we tap into a vibrational frequency such as government? Does that make sense?
You can create whatever vibrational state you prefer regardless of what anyone else says. If you want to use the ritual and the license and the relationship you may be forming with government to allow yourself to use it as a permission slip, to allow you to give yourself permission to go into the state you prefer, then by all means you can do that. But if you stop and think about it, you could just go into that state anytime you really wanted to. Yes?
Yes.
Then it's up to you to decide whether or not you need the permission slip.
Okay. No, that's good. So I have one more question.
Yes.
The concept of tithing.
Yes.
I believe that it is around the idea that as you give, so you shall receive.
Well, it's based on synchronicity, and it's based on what's relevant for you to experience in the theme that you're exploring. So everything that is relevant for you to experience will be experienced at exactly the correct time, not before, not after, but in perfect timing, for what serves you best.
So when you give 10% of your income to a place that gives you spiritual nourishment,
Yes.
my understanding is that the concept is that it comes back multiplied.
In a sense, but that's not a concept of timing.
Okay.
That's simply a way that you're using a permission slip to expand yourself. That's all.
Okay.
It's up to you. You can use that technique as a permission slip. You can use other techniques as a permission slip. It depends on what you believe works for you.
I got it. Okay.
Yes?
Good.
But the timing of when all of that happens, yes, that's the issue of timing.
Good.
Not what happens, but when.
When it happens.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Does that help?
It does.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
You are very welcome.
Keep your passwords safe.
Hi, Bashar.
And you good day.
I have a question about a recurring dream that I have had since I was very little.
Oh, how exciting.
It's very exciting.
Speak up.
I remember my first flying dream.
Yes.
I was very young, and it was a lesson of sorts. I was being trained to fly.
Yes.
And as I grew up, it started out kind of being a difficult, I'd have to like pump my legs and sort of swim, and
Yes.
I could only get to a certain height. And as I've grown up, it's become a much easier thing for me to fly.
All right. And so?
So for the
It's about
past,
learning to fly in a different way.
yes, it definitely has morphed over time.
But
But
that's the point. Otherwise, what would be the point of having a physical experience if you don't ground yourself in it?
right.
Right.
So for the past 10 years, I have had this theme in my flying dreams where I run away. I'm always running away, and it's always a different situation, a different person or a group of people or
Yes.
a company or sometimes I'm
All
with
right.
sometimes.
Is there something that you're running away from in life?
Well, that's my question. Is over 10 years, my life has changed a lot. I have moved. I'm
Yes.
now closer to living the life I want to live
All
than
right.
I've ever been, and I'm still having these dreams, and it's very anxious. It makes me anxious.
It makes you anxious because why?
Because I can't. I'm trying to run away, and I can't ever really actually get away in my dreams. And there have
And
been.
what do you think will happen if you don't get away?
Well, I've never actually been caught.
Well, that's a plus, isn't it?
Yes, it is a plus. That's
So you are capable of outrunning any kind of negative experience, aren't you?
yes,
That's a positive way to interpret the dream, isn't it?
yes, indeed.
Then why don't you interpret it that way?
Well,
I can outrun anything that could possibly be negative. Anything that could possibly harm me, I can outrun it. It'll never catch me. Isn't that a positive way to define this?
It is.
Does it work for you to define it that way?
Yes, I suppose I haven't really incorporated that belief into my
Aha.
waking.
So can you now, from this point forward?
I can.
Is that sufficient as an interpretation? Or do you need something more complicated?
No, I suppose that works. It is.
You suppose it does, but you don't feel that it does?
Well, I will have to try experience my waking reality having that belief system and incorporating that and seeing if that does change my dreams.
Oh my goodness, does it have to be that complicated? I will try to incorporate that idea into my waking reality, and I will see if this experiment actually produces any results whatsoever, which means I'm not buying it yet.
Yeah.
But that's all right. If you feel like you need to go through the process, then by all means have fun doing so. Nevertheless, I guarantee that at the end of the process, you will come to the conclusion that I'm telling you now. Oh, why not just buy it? It's much easier. It's up to you. Not forcing you.
Okay. Okay, I can do that.
It's up to you. You don't have to.
No, I would like to. So my.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
If we were to chase you, would you let us catch you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
Then maybe the idea we have shared with you will actually stick. And you won't run away from it.
Okay, thank you for that.
Is that helping?
That helps a lot.
Anything else?
I do have another question.
Yes.
I am a jeweler.
A jeweler?
That is my passion.
How exciting.
Very exciting. I love it very much.
Oh, all right. Is there a butt coming up?
No, I have an idea for a type of jewelry line that
Yes.
I've created, Find Your Frequency.
And this is exciting?
Very exciting.
All right. And so have you begun to do that?
I have, yes. I have made one official pendant for a friend and it turned out very well.
All
I'm
right. So
excited
these
about
are statements of your excitement. They're not questions, yes?
Yes. Well, my question is, the idea of this line is to create a formula for people to pick a color, a shape, a symbol,
Yes.
and a stone.
Yes.
And for me to take that information and turn it into a piece that fits that person's vibration.
All right. Well, how creative. How exciting.
Yes.
Have fun.
So I was wondering if
Yes.
you had any suggestions as to how I can.
Why do I need to give you suggestions if this is representative of your own creativity and your own excitement? What do you need from me? I thought you said you were doing it.
I am. It's just.
Then what do you think you need from me?
Maybe a permission slip. Maybe an idea.
A permission slip to do what? Other than what you're already doing?
Well, I just want to be able to know that the design that I come up with.
Do you
is
want a
the right
permission
design.
slip from me? Yes or no?
Yes.
Then I will give you this permission slip. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you paying attention?
Very much so.
Here's the permission slip.
Okay.
You don't need a permission slip.
Okay.
Are you okay with that permission slip? That you don't need a permission slip?
Yes.
Bashar has given you the permission slip that you don't need a permission slip. Okay. That's it.
That's good.
That's it.
I can deal with that.
All right, have fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, while you are creating your fantastic creative jewelry, you can be doing that and say, Bashar said I didn't need a permission slip. That's my permission slip to keep going, keep expanding, because I don't need any gosh darn stinking permission slip. That's my permission slip.
Hi, Bashar.
How do you good day?
I'm so excited to be here and to talk to you.
As are we, to talk to all of you.
And my question, well, it's a question regarding my journey right now. I've been working on my self-empowerment. That's my biggest desire, to be fully empowered and stand in my power. But I am struggling with my inner critic.
You are struggling with what?
My inner critic, my inner voice that I criticize and judge myself.
All right, well, what kind of a conversation are you having with that critic?
Well, just the things that I want to accomplish and the things that I want to manifest. There's days where I am practicing self-love and
Yes.
I feel that I'm worthy.
Yes.
But then there's those days where I kind of start just criticizing myself.
Is it because you are insisting on a particular outcome for what you're doing? Or are you acting on your excitement for its own sake? Does the critic come in when you think that you have not measured up?
When I think I'm not good enough or worthy.
You are not
Good enough.
good enough for what? To be yourself? Who else can be better at it?
Right. So how do I stop
Notice
that?
how many people say right, but just keep on going.
So
You're the only one who can be you. So you are good enough because no one else could possibly be as good at being you as you can.
So how do I get that through my head?
You want me to drive it through your head with a nail or something?
'Cause
What will it take? What will it take for you to believe it?
Right.
Well, I'm asking you, what will it take for you to believe that you're good enough? You tell me, what will it take? If I tap you on the shoulder, is that good enough? If I punch you harder, is that good enough? If you get into an accident, is that good enough? What will it take?
That's what I'm struggling. I don't know. I just wanted to just know it and own it.
What is stopping you from knowing it? What idea, what belief is stopping you from just saying, I know it? You're making a choice here. You're making a decision here. Why are you choosing to not know something you could just decide to know is true? What's stopping you from just saying, it's good enough that I just know it's true that I'm good enough? What's stopping you from just knowing that?
I guess because I doubt myself.
And what is doubt?
I don't believe in myself sometimes.
Doubt is not a lack of belief. It's a choice to believe in something that's out of alignment with your true self. Doubt is not a lack of trust. It's a 100% trust in something that's out of alignment with what you prefer. So why are you choosing to put all your trust in something you don't prefer instead of putting it in something you do prefer? Why? Why does that seem logical to you?
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to stop.
But I'm asking you a question that you're not answering. Why does it seem logical to trust in something you don't prefer about yourself instead of simply trusting in what you prefer to trust in? What's stopping you from believing that trusting in yourself is just as powerful and will stick just as strongly as the fact that you will trust something you don't prefer? Why are you making that distinction? It's easier in your mind, in your beliefs, it's easier to trust something you don't prefer about yourself than it is to trust something you do prefer. Why? What's the belief that says it's easier to do that than this? Because they're both the same level of trust. It's 100% trust in something you don't prefer about yourself. It's 100% trust in something you do prefer to believe about yourself. It's the same level, same energy. What's the difference? Why not this one instead of that one? Why are you making such a distinction between the two as if trusting in something you don't prefer is easier than trusting in something you do prefer?
Right, so I'm trying to break that pattern.
It's not a pattern. Watch your definitions. It's a choice you're making every moment. Remember, when you know it's a pattern, it's not a pattern anymore. A pattern is something you do you don't know you're doing.
Right,
If you know you're doing it, it means you're making a choice to do it. So the question would be, why am I making a choice to do something I don't prefer? And that comes down to what we just said. You have a belief that it is easier and more real to trust in something about yourself you don't prefer than to believe in something about yourself that you do. Why are you holding on to the belief that that's easier than this? That that's more real than this, that that's more true than this? Why? How does it serve you to hold on to a negative image of yourself? How does it serve you? Because you wouldn't hold on to it if it didn't serve you. If you didn't believe that it served you.
I guess it keeps me in the same place.
And is it scary to leave that place? Is it scary to be yourself? Are you afraid that if you are your true self and you act on your highest passion, that something bad will happen? What are you afraid of?
I guess so, yes. That something bad's gonna happen.
Well, why do you choose to believe that?
I don't know.
Sure you do. Come on. Why do you choose to believe that if you're living your excitement, that something bad can happen? Do you want me to tell you why?
Yes.
Because you have a definition that isn't a definition of excitement. You have a different kind of definition, and that's not a definition of excitement. If you had an actual definition of excitement, you would understand that a real definition of excitement can't possibly contain anything that would be out of alignment with that excitement. So even if, as we said earlier, even if something crops up that you don't prefer, that can just be a neutral observation. It doesn't have to affect you negatively. Only when you decide that it can affect you will you feel the effect. But if you remain neutral with whatever happens, even if it's what you don't prefer, then you can go into a positive state about it and get a beneficial effect no matter what it is. So there's no reason to be afraid of any circumstance that could crop up, because you, by staying in the positive state and trusting that you are good enough and worthy enough and deserving enough, will know that you will always get a beneficial effect no matter what crops up, because you will just remain neutral to it and observe the negative thing neutrally. And that will be the choice that you make, and that will be a true definition of staying in your excitement. To say, I am following my excitement, but something bad could happen, is not a definition of excitement. It's a different definition of a different experience altogether. So you have to be clear about your definitions and understand when you are contradicting yourself in those definitions. Yes?
Yes.
Is this helping?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Knowing yourself takes great clarity. You have to be very clear of the story that you're telling yourself, the definitions you're buying into, sometimes without even knowing that you're doing it. One very strong way is to just pay attention to what comes out of your mouth, because very often you will tell yourself exactly what your definitions are by the way you frame things. Just listen, and you'll hear the negativity in the words that you choose.